Good morning, good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing today? How are you guys doing today? Hey, this is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas, with this inspirational morning talk. For first-time listeners, I'm on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:45 a.m. Central Time. That's our time here in Houston. Yes, the goal is just to give you something inspirational to start out the day because we're going to encounter so much negativity during the day. Just to give you something positive to start out the day or to end your day. Some people listen at the end of the day when they get home, but that's the whole goal, man. That's the whole goal. Hey, today's one of those days, man. At work, I get a little sleep, but God said, no, I didn't approve a day off for you. I know when He gave me a day off. But He said, no, I didn't approve a day off for you. You got to get up and talk about this stuff today. So I'm here today being obedient to do what I got to do because today might be someone who listening for the first time and need to hear this message. So He said, nah, you could go back and sleep, but you got to put the word out there because I got people lined up to hear what you got to say today. What I have to say today through you. Not what I have to say, what He has to say. I'm just a vessel of bringing this, right? Marcy Wiles, good morning, good morning. I'm just a vessel. So anyhow, let's get into it today, man. Man, every day you look on the news, you're seeing all of these shooting, these mass shooting. For the people here in the U.S. and I think other parts of the world too, we're experiencing a lot of violence, gun violence. Beverly Gomes, good morning, good morning. How are you doing? We're experiencing all of these violent stuff that's going on, man. And if you really sit to think, you could be overwhelmed and don't want to do anything, right? You could be overwhelmed and don't want to do anything, but nowhere is safe. Christine Cato, Joseph, good morning, good morning. How are you doing? Yes, you could be overwhelmed and don't want to do anything because it's people just getting killed and all these mass shooting. And I know we turn into the politicians and there's big debates and these laws and these laws and these laws and these conversations need to happen. Tessa Hunt, good morning, good morning. These conversations need to happen. But while these conversations happening, Nalini Singh, good morning, good morning. How are you doing today? So while all these conversations need to be happening with all of this gun violence that's going on around, man, we as Christians need to be protected. We need to be protected because you cannot stay in your house. You cannot be scared of going out there. You cannot not do anything, man, because you don't know when this shooting will come to a city near you or a place near you or a building near you or the building that you're in. You don't know. So in the meanwhile, while these conversations happening, we got to be protected, right? So I can look at two stories here where the angel of the Lord will protect you. Because you see, we taking God out of every single thing. We taking God out of all of this freedom stuff. We taking God out of everything. And once we taking God out of everything, that we're taking away the protection also, right? We're taking away the protection also. Even in a local police department here, which in the U.S. here, each small city just have their own police department. Someone went so far to get a petition going to take In God We Trust off of the police vehicles. That's how far the enemy is going to try to remove God from everything so he can have his way. Because when we take God out of the way, we think replacing God, right? It is him, right? So I want to look at these stories and remind people here about the angel of the Lord will protect you. Once you keep your mind on God and you keep doing, his will, you're going to be okay. You will be okay. You don't need to be scared. So we can be reminded about these stories, but Amarak, Shadrach, and Abednego, and a little bit about Daniel, how these guys give us a blueprint here, how to handle some situations, how to handle difficult situations. And we can take this guide and go on in our days. A lot. We just did about a spiritual protection with a mark in Ezekiel when God put Ezekiel in that vision, and he showed him when he go in that vision and he marked all the people who was not participate in all the wickedness in that city, and then he sent the people, the angel of destruction, to kill the ones without the mark. But today we can look at Amrak, Shamrak, and Abednego and Daniel's story and see how these guys protected themselves from the evil around them, right? Let's go. First, I want to read Psalms 91, 11 through 12. Psalms 91, verse 11 and 12 said, "For he will order his angels to protect you wherever you go. They will hold you up in their hands so that you wouldn't even hurt your foot against a stone." As if you believe in him, he will order his angels, to protect you. He will order his angels to protect you. We're looking for this protection right now, right? Of all this evil that's going on around us, all around the world. And say Hebrews 1:14. Hebrews 1:14. "Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation?" So these angels are ministering spirits sent to serve. They're sent to serve us who believe. These angels are there to serve us, right? Psalms 34:7 says, "For the angel of the Lord is a guard. For the angel of the Lord is a guard. He surrounds and defends all who fears him." For the angel of the Lord is a guard, and he surrounds and defends all who fear him. Fear means who believe in God, right? Who respect God, who reverent God. That's what a fear means, right? Exodus 34:14 said, "You must worship no other gods, for the Lord, whose very name is jealous, is a God who is jealous about his relationship with you." So God's saying, don't worship no other God but me. I'm jealous with my relationship with you. You know, you got a spouse or something that's jealous. That's how God said, I don't want you being friend with no other God, worshiping no other God about me. And if you do that, these angels is going to protect you in that evil world that you live. So let's say how these angels went to work because of people who really believe in him and who stuck out for him and who said they ain't gonna take the eyes off of him. Let's see how these evil and how these scriptures come, these angels, how these scriptures come to light in a story in the Bible here, right? This is in Daniel 3:16 through 30. Daniel 3:16 through 30. I think there's a good reminder for us right now in the wake of all of this violence that's going on. There's a good reminder for us, right? Daniel 3:16 through 30. Remember these guys, Amrak, Shamrak, and Abednego, and Daniel. These guys were the Hebrews, and they went to, was taken to the palace to be trained up to serve Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, right? And, these guys start to stand out because of the belief in God, and they start to stand out among the trainees, and, the king start taking notice of them and start promoting them. So long story short, these people who seen them, the peers now, was jealous of them and want to do things to bring them down. And the only way to know they can do that is to hit them on the religion, because they realize these guys are so serious with the God. So they're saying, okay, if we want to get them, we got to do something. We'll go against their religion, because we know these guys are so strong with the religion, they may not do it, and we can get them out to the way. So, the king to start noticing us now. So they make this golden image and said, everybody got to worship this golden image, right? So them guys, so that's just what go on here. These guys did not worship this golden image. So let's see how it play out here. So Daniel 3:16 through 30. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to him, "King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend." This is the king saying, hey, if you don't worship this image, what's going to happen? What I'm going to do to you guys if you don't worship this golden image, because it's brought to my attention. You guys do not want to follow my orders and worship this golden image. But these guys this is how these guys responding to him now. He said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to him, "King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter." It's like, we don't need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. Just imagine these guys talking to the king like this. These guys are so bold and speaking to the king in this manner here, because he telling them they got to worship a golden image. And them guys, I don't care if you're the king, if you're the pope, who you be. I'm not going to worship, because God's word in Exodus 34:14 said I should not worship any other God. I should not worship any other God, because he's jealous about our relationship. So I don't care if you're the king or not. I got to set you straight, buddy. You could do what you like. So I do not need to defend We do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it. That's bold. The God we serve will be able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty hands. We can deliver us from your hands. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. He said, even if God don't even deliver us, we worshiping it. We going to the grave believing and doing the stuff what God said. We believing in him. We believe in this word. If he deliver us from the furnace, we still not doing it. But we know he can do it. Right, guys? So that's what I'm saying. All this evil and violence is going on. These people going in this place, shooting this up, shooting this up. I'm saying we got angels to protect us if we believe and we hold on to our God. And don't be a part of the world of just taking God out to everything. We as believers, we need to keep God into everything we're doing. Everything. Don't go out on the street without praying God's protection on you. Don't go out, we wake in the morning, first thing, get these angels, put these angels to work. They want to go to work to protect us. We just got to employ them. We just got to get them the job, right? So let's see how this plays out. Then Nebuchadnezzar was furious with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and his attitude towards them changed. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual and commanded some of the strongest soldiers in the army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the blazing furnace. Now he turned up the heat, so to speak. He turned up the heat on them and got his strongest soldiers to bound them and tie them up so they can't, you're in a blazing furnace. So you still need to tie them up for, man. You're throwing them in a fire and you turn up the heat. Well, you still need to tie them up for. What, they're going to run out of the furnace? Right? So he's tied them up, right? The strongest army to, let me see where we stop here. Then Nebuchadnezzar was furious with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and his attitude towards them changed. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual and commanded some of the strongest soldiers in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the blazing furnace. So these men, wearing their robes, trousers, turbans, and other clothes, were bound and thrown into the blazing furnace. So they got on all these clothes that they wear, right? All this cloth that's supposed to be set ablaze quickly, right? This fabric supposed to be set ablaze quickly. Throw them in all the clothes. The king's command was so urgent that the furnace so hot that the flames of the fire killed the soldiers who took Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, firmly tied up, fell into the blazing furnace. So this fire is so hot. This fire is so hot that it killed the soldiers who go to throw them into this fire, right? So you in this building and the shooter coming, things are so hot, he pointing his gun at everybody. He pointing his gun. It's like what happened in the office there a couple of days ago in Kentucky. He coming and he even point his gun. But you got your angels that can protect you. You got your angels. This fire was so hot, it killed the men who was going to throw them in the blazing fire. Killed them. And they threw them into this furnace, right? Let's see what happened. Then King Nebuchadnezzar leaped to his feet in amazement and asked his advisors, weren't there 3 men that we tied up and threw into the fire? Weren't there 3 men? I guess he got a looking glass where he could see what's going on in the furnace, right? They replied, certainly, your majesty. He said, look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like the son of the gods. We tie these men up. I get my strongest soldiers to tie them up, to make them defenseless. They cannot defend themselves from nothing. But I see 4 people in this fire, and I know I threw 3 in there, 4 in there walking around, unbound. They're tied up no more. How that could happen? Right? Nebuchadnezzar then approached the opening of the blazing furnace and shouted, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out! Come here! So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire. Came out of the fire. So the fire, the heat going on, gunmen shooting up. You're going to walk out the door. You're going to walk out even though people die around you. Those soldiers dead. They didn't even go into the fire. They didn't even go into the furnace. The flames alone killed them, right? They come out. They saw the fire, the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire, and the satraps, prefects, governors, and royal advisors crowded around them. They saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair of their heads singed. Their robes were not scorched, and there were no smell of fire on them. Just imagine, mighty God, you throw them in this fire where men die just from the flames. They come out, nothing, it didn't even smell like there was in fire. They didn't even smell like it, no smoke, no nothing. The hair on the head, the clothes, where the material supposed to burn so quickly, nothing. And they come out of this fire, right? Then Nebuchadnezzar said, "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel," the fourth person, and there was the angel. What he saw 3, then he see 4. You see 4, the angel who has sent his angel. This is a man who don't believe in this God. This is a man who worship his own gods and don't believe in this God, the God of Isaac, Abraham, Isaiah, and these guys that we believe in. There's a man who do not believe in this God. But here how we're going to talk about him. Who sent his angels, let me go over that. Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and rescue his servants. Their trust in him and defied the king's command and were willing to give up their lives rather than to serve or worship any God except their own God. This is the king saying, these guys defile my orders, and tell me they don't even need to defend themselves against me because they got it. And they were willing to risk their lives for this. Right? So hear what he's saying now. Except their own God. Therefore, I decree that the people of any nation or language who say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be cut into pieces, and their houses be turned into piles of rubble, for no other God can serve in this way. This king who don't believe in this God, he's saying anyone talk anything bad about this God that these guys serve, they're going to be cut into pieces, and their houses will be turned into piles of rubble, for no other God can save in this way. Mighty God. He's serving other gods. He knows what his gods do. But he's saying the gods I serve can't protect people in this way. He cannot. All these other gods I serve and believe in. I know I'm going to turn and defend this God because no other God can save in this way. No other God. He said, anybody talk bad about this God, I can cut them into pieces. The house is going to be coming to rubble because no other God can save in this way. I must know because I serve in other gods and they never save me or nobody in this way. So when we're trying to remove God from everything, this is the protection we're giving up with it too. This type of protection we're giving up when we're trying to push God out of everything. This is a pagan king who's saying no other God can serve in this way. So you tell me, Desiree, oh, big sis, good morning, how are you doing? So you tell me, why should I go and serve other gods? Why should I left God out of everything and not get the protection that these guys got after going in a blazing fire? When a pagan king can say, nobody must say anything bad about this God. Nobody. Because I'm going to cut them into pieces and the house can turn to pile of rubble. Because no other God can save in this way. So when we're pushing them out, that's why we're exposing ourselves to all of these stuff. Yes, these conversations about gun violence and all of these stuff need to happen. But the root cause is the God that we're pushing out to everything. Jillian, good morning, big sis. So let's look at quickly of Daniel too. How Daniel, I can go in, so we lay the groundwork what happened. Daniel was the same thing. These guys, Daniel was setting up, separating himself with these guys through his knowledge and all that after he interpreted his dreams. So the king and all of that. So the king had to hold him high and put him like in charge of all of them. So they figure the only way we could bring Daniel down, jealousy. This is jealousy, the jealous against Daniel. The only way we could bring Daniel down is, again, we got to hit him on his religion. We got to do something that's going to go against his religion to see if he can be tempted to go against his God, or if he do hold out for his religion, we can have him killed so we can get him out of the way, right? That's what the enemy going to do. The enemy going to want to separate you from your God. He going to do stuff to get you to push God out. So you be tempted and scared and push God out. There's in these two cases what we're doing. And that's what we're doing right now. We're pushing God out. But these guys saying, no, I don't care what you do. I hold it on, right? So they bring up this decree that everyone must worship the king for the next 30 days and get the king to sign off on it, right? King, we so love you. In the next 30 days, everybody should worship you 3 times a day, or whatever the case may be. Can't remember exactly. But Daniel said, no. Because Daniel always going to pray to his God. So they know Daniel is not going to do this. So we said, okay, we can have him killed. And if any man who don't do it will be thrown in the lion's den. So, right? So this is the decree. So Daniel said, I ain't doing that, buddy. Right? So this is Daniel 6:19 through 22. Daniel 6:19 through 22. At the first sight of dawn, the king got up after he threw Daniel in the lion's den already. Threw Daniel in the lion's den. At the first sight of dawn, the king got up and hurried to the lion's den. When he came near the den, he called to Daniel in an anguished voice, Daniel, servant of living God, have your God, whom you serve continually, been able to rescue you from the lions? Right? Joseph Chapman, good morning. How are you doing? Daniel answered, may the king live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me because I was found innocent in his sight, nor have I ever done any wrong before you, your majesty. Again, after this, he tell everybody they need to serve the same God again. But I'm saying Daniel never kept his eye on his problem. If you Google pictures of Daniel in the lion's den, you're going to see Daniel was just looking up at heaven. Daniel never kept his eye on his problem. He kept his eye on God. Don't keep your mind on your problem, keep your mind on God, right? So Daniel, just like these guys here, said, I don't care what you do, king. I'm not going to worship you. I'm not going to worship your image of gold. And these haters who trying to get me to separate me from God, try to set me up, they're actually promoting me. There's a story going on right now here in stuff that I don't want to get into politics, where when you try to do hate, it can promote people, right? So I'm saying, guys, these answers to this violence that's going all around is simply because we're pushing up this God's protection up, right? So let me go back and read off and finish up with these scriptures how I started here. If we believe in him, this is the protection we got. Psalms 91, 11 and 12. For he will order his angels to protect you wherever you go. They will hold you up in their hands so that you wouldn't even hurt your foot on a stone. That's exactly what they did to the Daniel and Shadrach and Abednego. Hebrews 1:14 says, are not all angels ministering angels sent to serve those who will inherit salvation? They're ministering angels. We have to send to serve us. Psalms 34:7 saying, for the angel of the Lord is a guard. The angel of the Lord is a guard who he surrounds and defends all who fear him. He surrounds you and he defends you from all who fear the God, who reverence God, right? And Exodus 34:14 saying, you must worship no other gods, for the Lord, whose very name is jealous, is a God who is jealous about the relationship with you. And there's a lot of more scriptures that are talking about angels and protection, guys. So the bottom line is we can't be afraid to go out on the streets with all these violence that's going on. We just need to get this protection and go about our business. Because as this pagan king said, there's no other God can serve in this way, can save in this way. Right? So if a pagan guy can say that, we as Christians are supposed to know that. We as believers are supposed to know that. and take this protection and don't go according to the world and trying to push God out to everything. Acknowledge him in everything you do. We can be protected. All right, guys. I can leave that there, guys. But have a great Wednesday. We'll talk again on Friday. Goodbye.